What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be discussing Jack Harlow's album, Come Home, the Kids Miss You, and if it really did quote-unquote flop. But before we do start, I want to shout out to the second channel, Complex 2. A link to that will be in the description down below. Also want to give a big shout out to all channel members. Thank you guys for supporting that. And lastly, follow the Instagram at Complex Productions 999 and my Twitter at Complex Discuss. And with all this being said, we're going to dive on into everything. Alright, so I want to start by giving a shout out to my homie yet again, Mind of HY, or Hello Yassine, because he tweeted out that Come Home, the Kids Miss You first week sales were outsold by Future's I Never Liked You second week sales. So we're gonna dive on into this and really just discuss what happened. So looking at the tweet specifically, Jack Harlow sold 110,000 units first week, where Future ended up selling 117,000 units in his second week, which not only stopped Jack Harlow from debuting above Future's new album, but it was also a week after Future's first week sales came in, where he just sold like around 200,000 or something like that his first week, which is still insane. I think that proves that Future, for one, is still the GOAT, that he can sell this much a couple weeks into his album being out. But I do want to look into that in just a second. But looking at Jack's sales specifically real quick, this is kind of something I want to dive into. 110,000 units first week is by no means a flop. That's an insane amount to sell, especially with how much we've been seeing newer artists sell ever since this new Billboard rule has been implemented. And it's kind of cool to see how artists are going to do ever since the no merch bundles has been added in like 2020. I think Pegasus by Trippie was the first album to be hit by that new rule, at least bigger artist album in the hip hop community. But regardless, 110,000 units first week is for sure not a flop. I don't think that when people sell like 80,000 or even 60,000, depending on the project, I don't even consider those flops. I know that a lot of people like to say that and look at that, or like to say that if something doesn't sell 100K, that's a flop, which I think maybe back in the day, if you were a huge artist, not even back in the day, just like a year or two ago, if you were a huge artist doing numbers under 100,000 units with merch bundles and everything else, yeah, I could kind of see how you consider that a flop. But ever since that's been implemented, I think that everything that's been selling anywhere from like the 60 to 100K range isn't a flop, depending on the artist and the hype behind the album. Obviously, if you have something that is like an Eternal Atake or a Whole Lotta Red, that is a huge, long anticipated album, and it sells like 60K or something, yeah, that's a flop. Or if you're someone like Future and you just have been in the game for however long you have been, and he ends up selling like 60K or something like that first week, I would consider those flops. But Jack Harlow selling 110,000 units first week on an album that I'm pretty sure is classified as his sophomore album, that is not a flop. Look at the streams also for First Class and Nail Tech, which were both the singles to this album. Nail Tech has almost 100 million streams, and I'm pretty sure First Class is clear over 200 million streams on Spotify alone. And keep in mind that First Class is already certified platinum, and this is a brand new album, so to already have all these things behind it, over 100,000 units first week, a platinum song, and one of the bigger songs this year so far with First Class, so that's honestly really impressive. But the things I really want to look at is if the album did flop. Well, I think a reason that kind of stopped Jack from going number one. Now, I want to make it very clear that I thought he was for sure going to outsell Future. I didn't think it would even be really a question that Future was going to outsell him with his second week. So that definitely shocked me. But I do think that Future dropping a deluxe for I Never Liked You kind of within the first week sales, I'm pretty sure, also helped Future's sales from his first week and his second week. Now, obviously, I like Future's album. I think it's a good album. I think Future's the GOAT, and he deserves this. I'm not mad whatsoever. It just honestly shocked me that Jack was not able to get a number one album with this project. And another part of this, I don't even think it's gonna go number one now, because obviously Kendrick just dropped, so that really kind of eliminates Jack's chance to be able to get a number one album. We also have Posty's album coming up soon, so we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen. I know a lot of people were kind of disappointed in the Jack album, and I kind of was too, if I'm being honest. There was some songs on there like I Got a Shot, Poison with Wayne, and even the Drake song I did like a lot, and I obviously liked Nail Tech, and First Class was alright. It's a little overplayed, but I still enjoyed the song when I first heard it, or at least the first few times, so there's there's definitely songs on the project that I like, but overall, I think I do agree with some people when not necessarily when they call it mid, but just that it wasn't really made for a huge audience to listen to. That's kind of how I look at it, at least. But with all this being said, I don't think Jack necessarily flopped because the numbers are still good for this album. He's still already got some pretty good just things going for the project itself, and it's definitely going to keep streaming well, especially with his tour coming up and all of those things. But as for it debuting at number 1 and not being able to achieve that, and I don't think it's going to, and just kind of the expectations I had for the project and how fast the first week sale numbers or the projections dived down, if you look at it like that, that definitely is a flop. But it's kind of up to you guys. What do you think? Did the album flop? Did you like it? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.